So the idea over here after you log in is to create a source physical file. Inside that source physical file, we will going to be creating a member. That member will going to be of a physical file member type with a lot of fields, and then that will going to serve as a referenced physical file for the other physical file members. So we'll learn how you can reference a physical file member from another. So we will going to first of all right click on the library to create a new source physical file. The naming convention for this one will going to be today's date and OCT 0317 and your initials. So OCT 0317 and your initials, and we're going to hit the finish. Yes, so you have to basically open your library list, not work with libraries, open your library list, then expand on your ITPA ID and log in. Okay. Now, after this, I want to tell you one more thing. If you right click on your library, there is an option called Expand To. So currently for me, I've selected source file. So here is down the list, I have OCT 0317 SY. Now it tells me that the type is file, the member type is PFSRC. So object type file. This is where I'm going to create a new member. So I right click and new member. The command is add PFM. And as I type my member details, the command at the bottom will keep expanding. Okay. So the name of this new member will going to be OCT. Let me turn on my caps lock. OCT 03 rep. OCT 03 rep. Rep for repository. REP. REP. So that is the name OCT 03 REP for repository. And then the type, member type is still PF because it's a physical file member. And then you click finish. Once you hit finish, it takes you into the environment and you can bring your source prompt by pressing function key F4. What is the first thing that you got to create? Record type. Still, even though it's acting as a repository, you still create your record type. So from the name type, we're going to choose R. And we're going to come down in the name. We're going to call this REC, REP. REC, REP. And apply. So once you create these members with these data types and these sizes. Then you make sure that you save the changes and then you compile. Once the compilation goes through, you check your commands log to make sure that what you have compiled has been created and has been added. If there are any errors, they'll tell you either here, or I'm going to tell you right here if there are any syntax errors. And then you can always check your navigator to make sure that the member was created. Once this is done, we would now like to create other members, and some members will reference all the fields from here and some members will reference some of the fields from here. So let's go back and let's start creating other members. So we're going to create a new member, and this new member will be called OCT03 Cust. OCT03 Cust. The reason I'm naming it this way because a lot of you may already have a customer. So we're going to now create again a physical file member and click Finish. All physical file members must have their own record format. So we're going to press F4 and we're going to assign it a record format. Once you assign it a record format, now here is another thing that you have to do. And that is make this physical file reference the other physical files that you can borrow. So in order for you to reference the other physical file from this physical file, you have to go back to the record format line, and in the functions area, you now are going to call a function ref, and in the parentheses, you will write the name of the other physical file. What was that? OCT03REP. And now you press enter. So now you're basically saying that I am referencing the following file for my field. If I write a field over here and I do not give a description, I want to grab it from there. But if I write a field name and I provide a description, grab it from here. Okay. So now let's say the first field I want to create is called customer ID. Does this has a customer ID? No. So I'll just come here and I'll say, okay, the very first field I want is cust ID, and I'm going to write my own description, 5A, cust ID, done. But the second, third, and fourth field will be first name, middle initial, and last name. Okay. So the second line is where you write here first name, and you see ref. In the ref, you now choose R, and that's the whole purpose of ref. It's only used when you're referencing a field from elsewhere. And now you press enter, and that field you want to be referenced from that guy. And you will repeat the same procedure for MI. MI stands for Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise will not gonna like that answer. Okay, so, and the last name. So in this example, what to see that. So I have a zip code here, which I'll say zip code. I want to be 9A. How did I declare it in the other one? I declared it as 5A. So since I want 9A, so I'm overwriting. Now, it tells you that there are some problems starting as early as line number 100. See, the last error is line 100. So it gives you errors in stack. Okay. Now, if you double click on the very first, on the last error, okay, notice it says this line. Now, since I can't produce a line above the first line, okay, so go to the end of the first line and press enter. Then I'm going to bring my source prompt. I will only going to repeat the record format name and the record format type, which is whatever it is, but I'm not going to repeat the reference. Then I go back to the first line. I go back to the first line, and then I get rid of this. So that's how it looks like now. Okay. Notice what I did. Look what happened here. Okay. Now that we have saved and fixed this one problem, let's try to compile it again. All errors gone? Sometimes what happens is that one error that you make as a result produce other errors because that error is that's a statement to which all other statements are connected. So now the errors are gone and the compilation went through just fine. If you may go back behind the scene to the navigator and you go to your database tables, you will notice that you do have OCT03 cust. I would like you to revisit its definition now, visit its definition. And in definitions, check the columns. In the columns, it doesn't tell you anywhere that these are referenced. So the reference is only for me to shorten my programming time. When it compiles, it copies the description over, and you wouldn't even feel that it was referenced. So what did we notice in this one example? We learned how you can reference one member from another. In order to do that, we use a reference function in which we provide the name of the member to which you're referencing. It is your choice to bring a field description from another member, provided the name must match. So I cannot shorten F name and expect it to grab information from first name. It won't happen. Also, I have a choice of introducing my own fields that are not in the reference file. Also, I have a choice to bring in a reference field but override it with my own description. So customer ID was a new field. First name, middle initial, last name are referenced, and zip code is overridden. Okay, so that's how you do your reference fields. Now we're going to do one more example of reference. So here we're going to right click and create a new member, which we're going to call OCT03 EMP. Which will going to be of type PF, physical file number. Finish. What is the first thing that I must do? Reference, not record format, reference, okay? So I bring in my reference. OCT03REP. Now from the second line onwards, I start doing my record format and fields.